Oregon's U.S. Senator Ron Wyden, a veteran lawmaker entering his fifth decade in Congress, is making it clear. He's not stepping aside yet. At 76, with more than 2 decades in the Senate under his belt, Wyden is standing firm amid growing calls from within his own party for generational change. He's not only running for re-election in 2028, when he'd be 79, but he's doubling down on his message of experience, energy, and civic engagement. Wyden's unwavering commitment was on full display during a recent town hall in Wasco, a rural conservative community in Sherman County. The gathering was smaller than the typical Capitol Hill spectacle, just 20 residents at a former grade school, but what it lacked in scale, it made up for in meaningful civil discourse. Despite Sherman County's deep red pedigree, 75% of voters backed Trump in the last election. Wyden insisted that every Oregonian deserved to be heard. He's conducted town halls in all 36 counties every year of his Senate tenure, logging over 1,100 such meetings across his career. "Questions about age are fair game," he said. "But I've got results, and I've got the energy." In a time marked by political polarization and grumbling within the Democratic Party about outdated leadership, Wyden's argument hits a different chord. He emphasizes substance over optics, pointing to his team's hard work behind the scenes, crafting legislation on clean energy, protecting democracy, and demanding transparency in high-profile investigations. For instance, Wyden has been a persistent voice pushing for transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Using his position on the Senate Finance Committee, he has pressed for financial records related to Epstein's abuse network at every turn, underlining that accountability cannot be postponed. That resolve came alive in small-town Wasco, an intimate setting that produced broader lessons about politics in America today. When a resident asked whether Democrats had a real plan to check Trump's growing power, Wyden segued into conversations about trade. He recently met with the Canadian Prime Minister about farmer concerns over tariffs and immigration, admitting that bipartisan reform had collapsed last year partly due to Trump's opposition. It was a moment of grassroots democracy in action. Earnest questions answered with both conviction and complexity. Facing mounting pressure from groups like Run for Something, which encourages fresh leadership from within the party, Wyden refused to give in. "I believe most of life is just showing up," he said, adding that his presence, especially in conservative towns where other lawmakers shy away, matters deeply in rebuilding trust. Democrats across the country continue to wrestle with internal tension. How to balance experience against the urgent need to engage younger, more diverse voices. Joe Biden's eventual withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race reignited those debates, and some senators, like Illinois' Dick Durbin, have stepped aside. Wyden, for his part, argues that at a time when democracy feels fractured, abandoning the field is not the answer. His path forward is clear. He'll return to Oregon, continue those local town halls, press for transparency, and channel his decades of legislative work into another term. For voters tired of spectacle, this approach, rooted in gentle persistence, institutional knowledge, and genuine dialogue, may feel like a breath of fresh air. If you value substantive politics and leaders who still believe in showing up, don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe now for more reporting on the future of our institutions and the people working to sustain them.